Good evening, everybody. Sorry I'm a little bit late. We're just getting started now. Let's see when some people arrive so we can get going. First of all, can I ask somebody to let me know that they can actually hear me and see me? Rajalat, apa kabar? Yeah, we've got a few people joining now. Latala, Lacas, Juan Manuel Ruiz is watching. Can you please do me a favor and if you can, and share the live feed with some of your friends. We need to get to talk to as many people as possible so we can help with this situation. Some good news so far. Since we started, Puchaharum, Pakabar, since we started, Lino, since we started, we've had no reports of fatalities. So let's hope it's having an effect, and let's hope that people are starting to learn a little bit from what we've been teaching everybody. It's nice to know that things are sort of starting to get through, and you know, I just feel that it's worthwhile because it's an important thing. We lost a lot of people in August, and hopefully that's going to stop. So just for the Indonesian friends, selamat malam. Aku harap kamu sudah sehat, sudah aman, dan semua sudah bagus untuk mancing atau menyalam, saya kira. So, selamat malam Abu Muhammad Ghani. Banyak dari Indonesia sekarang. Bagus, banyak dari Indonesia. Okay, so I guess we'll need to start sort of speaking English so the majority can hear us. Can just somebody please let me know that you can hear me and you can see me? Anybody yet? Franco, Ramil, Oliver, good evening, or good afternoon, depending where you are, I guess. We've got Indonesia and Philippines. It's late now, 10 p.m. In Europe, it's obviously a lot earlier, probably 7 p.m. And in Mexico and Brazil, it'll be morning. So can somebody please just let me know you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Are they saying that?
I can hear you.
Jasmine can hear me, but she's sat next to me. Okay. Just me and Jasmine, my wife's here, obviously. So good, Daniel. Thank you so much. Welcome, Danielle, as well. A very good friend of mine and a student of mine as well, who's becoming a very, very efficient spearfisher since he joined us. I didn't realise, actually, Danielle, we haven't started your theory yet, so we need to get together pretty soon to go through the theory. You'll pick a fair bit of theory up tonight, actually. So, okay, let's get cracking. Why we're doing this, for those of you who haven't been here for the last two sessions, we're doing this because we've been losing a lot of people, in particular in Southeast Asia, in Indonesia and in the Philippines, due to, and it's sad to say this, but due to lack of knowledge. Knowledge is everything. And if you don't have the knowledge, you don't know what to do. Thank goodness, alhamdulillah, we haven't had any reports of any deaths this month so far. So I'm really pleased. It looks like, hopefully, the message is getting out there. It's you know, people die for various reasons in this sport. It's a safe sport, as long as you know what you're doing. It's very dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. Some people go into a shop, buy a gun, or in Southeast Asia even make their own guns, which is amazing, and jump in the sea and dive and try and shoot some fish, which is Look, I understand it as well. A lot of guys are feeding their families. A lot of guys suffered after COVID. A lot of people lost their jobs, lost their income, and the sea was right next to you. And jumping in the sea to shoot dinner is a great idea. Problem is, however, so many people got involved in the sport without any proper training, and they took risks. They probably weren't even aware of the risks, to be honest. If you don't know what the risks are, then you can't be blamed for getting in trouble. What I want to cover tonight is the blackout issue, and also a bit on equalization. And the blackout side, thank you Axel for sharing the post, I saw that. On the blackout side, we need to talk about how to recover blackout victims. The reason we have blackouts, why do we have blackouts? I asked it last week, I asked people to tell me what a blackout was, and I had all sorts of different answers. So I'm going to do it again. I'm going to ask you, do you know what a blackout is? And I'll watch for any responses coming in. Let's have a cup of tea. English, of course. Any response?
Shout out Ramil Alegro Mondejar from Philippines.
Shout out to Ramil from Philippines, yes, of course.
And John Vincent Letada.
John Vincent Letada
from Philippines.
from Philippines also. Dennis Rilo. Abu Muhammad Ghani. Al Maktoumi, I think is probably Indonesia.
From Tawi-Tawi, Philippines.
Oh, Tawi-Tawi, okay, great. So, Boogie, the Tawi-Tawi is the Bajau land, right? So yeah, we want to go there one day, inshallah. We'll all love to go to Tawi-Tawi, beautiful place. One of our members here in Abu Dhabi Spiros is from Tawi-Tawi as well, and he's been, obviously he goes there. So great place. So, any answers regarding blackout yet?
No.
Okay, no. So, let's get on to it then. Blackout. What is a blackout? I'll explain to you in as simplest terms as possible. A blackout is when your body shuts down and you effectively stop functioning. And the reason you stop functioning is because we've got this system in our bodies that has been instilled in our bodies, because we're originally mammals, of course. It's been instilled in our bodies by God, by Allah, by whatever you want to call it, but it's been put there as a protection system. When we get low on oxygen, what happens is your body will divert the little bit of oxygen left in your blood to the vital organs to keep you alive. So you will notice that if you see anybody had a blackout, you'll see their hands go very white, their feet and legs go very white, their arms go white, because the blood is being diverted into the vital organs to keep you alive. And if those vital organs are keeping you alive, then you can survive. You can survive quite a long time without breathing, as long as you've got a buddy with you who can get you to the surface as quickly as possible and carry out the blackout protocol. And I'll show you that as well in a little while. So the blackout protocol is what we need to learn. We also need to understand what happened. Why do we have a blackout? And there are various reasons for having a blackout. One common one is obviously diving too deep or diving too long. When you're diving, my advice is, once you get used to a depth, say you're diving at 3 meters, don't go to 10 meters the day after. When you're diving at a depth and you get comfortable with it, then extend that a little bit. Then go 5% more. Go to 3.5 meters, go to 4 meters, and so on. Don't just go straight down as quickly as you can, because it doesn't help. It causes problems. So you have to understand that our bodies are not used to this lack of oxygen. They're not used to this deeper pressure that we suffer when we go deep in the sea. We have to gradually increase our training and our performance in line with what our body expects. Jumping from 3 to 10 meters is the worst thing you could do. You're just asking for trouble, basically. So my advice then is, slow down, guys. Just take it easy. Just I go gone. Just take it easy and slowly increase your depth on your time limit or your time underwater. So there's one of the reasons why we have blackouts. You know, at the end of the day, your body hasn't got enough oxygen and it shuts down. So another reason for blackouts is, for example, getting stuck, getting tangled when you're diving. You might dive, you might see some nets or some fishing lines. You might be able to avoid them when you're looking at them, but I'll tell you what, they can catch your weight belt. They'll get stuck on your weight belt. If you haven't got a knife that you can get your hands on, then you're in trouble. Believe me, I've been there. If you get stuck in a net, because some of the nets are invisible, right? I got stuck in an invisible net once. I didn't know what was going on. Thankfully, I had my knife handy, sharp knife. I cut myself away and I surfaced again. So getting stuck in your, getting entangled is something that we have to avoid. So when you're diving, if you see a net, or if you see fishing lines, keep away. Don't go near them because it's very difficult to get out of it. So entanglement, diving for too long. Weights, very, very important. You can suffer because you're wearing too many weights. The way to weight yourself is not putting 10 kilos on because you need to go deeper. That does not work. Believe me, that's the worst thing you can do. What you need to do is to get yourself the correct weight depending on your buoyancy. How you start weighting yourself, the first time you dive without any wetsuit, you would put on typically 2.5 kilos onto your belt, and that should make you neutrally buoyant at the surface. So then what you do to test it, you exhale everything and drop under the water. Eventually your body will start to rise again, and if it finishes in the middle of your mask in the sea, you're perfectly weighted. Okay, so if you've weighted yourself and you come back up, your body comes completely out of the water and your head's out of the water, it means you haven't got enough weight. So you need to put another 0.5 kilo or 1 kilo on and try again. If your body doesn't come up at all, it means you're too heavily weighted. So you take weights off until such time as you reach that level. Okay. The reason we do it this way is because if you have a blackout at 10 meters, for example, and your body's far away, your body will naturally start to surface again if you're correctly weighted. You will naturally come back to the surface, and then your buddy can come and help you to come out of the blackout. It's very important. If you put too much weight, you're never going to come back. We lost a good friend. Hi, Ching-Chi. We lost a good friend last year because he was overweighted. A lot of people think that if I'm going deeper, I need more weight. No, you don't. It's the opposite. The deeper you go, the less weight you need, because your body starts to compress, your lungs start to compress, you become less buoyant. So basically what happens is you go down, and when you're at the right level, you shouldn't just be able to stay there. You should be able to maybe grab hold of a rock or something. You should be buoyant. You shouldn't be flat sat on the bottom of the sea, because believe me, trying to get back up from 10 meters with 10 kilos and with some of the fins that I've seen people using in Southeast Asia made from plywood and polystyrene, it ain't going to work. You're going to run out of breath and you're going to black out. If you're not with a buddy, you're in huge trouble. We'll just quickly go on to that one. Never dive alone. Please, please never dive alone. It's a great way of dying, because if you have any of these problems, you're not going to survive. If your buddy's with you, I'm not saying your buddy should be sat watching you go down and come up and all that, just like free divers. What I'm saying is if your buddy's with you, around you, and he can see what's happening and something goes wrong, then he can come and help you. You'll never get a Spiro to do, especially on shallow dives, one up, one down, one up, one down. In free diving, what we do when we're free diving is Your buddy stays on the surface, watches you go down, watches you whilst you're diving, watches you come up. When you get to 10 meters, he'll go down and escort you up to the surface, watching you all the time. When you get to the surface, he'll keep watching you. He wants to see your eyes, and he'll keep watching you for at least 30 seconds. You can still black out after 30 seconds on the surface. So it's important that you understand that. Okay, so what are the reasons have we got for blackout? We didn't do a proper breathe up. If you don't do a proper breathe up and you don't do correct inhalation and breath, you know, getting yourself ready for that final breath and that final dive, you can have trouble. The other one is panicking. So let's say you dive down, you sat on the surface or on the bottom for at 10 meters for a minute, you look around, you might get stuck a little bit on, you might get a little bit stuck on something, maybe your belt gets stuck, you have to push it away, you then can start panicking. If you panic, you're in trouble. When you panic, what you do is you start coming up to the surface as fast as you can. And you'll see people trying to climb ladders like this, looking up, trying to climb, get up as quick as I can. You might see him drop his gun. If he drops his gun, you know there's a problem, right? We don't want to lose our guns. So panic is another reason why people have blackouts. My advice to everybody, and I say this so many times to my students, there's one great way of not getting a blackout. And what's that? Relax. 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 Hi, Lloyd. Relax. Take it easy. Do everything slower than normal. Do your breathe up slowly. Get yourself ready slowly. Even your duck dive, do that slowly and just go down nice and easily. It's a great way of not scaring fish. If you do a nice duck, I think Daniel it was who asked me to do one last week when we were on a sea dive. When you do the duck dive, it's better not to go screaming down like a torpedo. Just go nice and easy. Careful duck dive. You know, you can lose 50% of your oxygen during a duck dive. The adrenaline is flowing. You're ready to go. You see that big fish on the bottom. Instead of going carefully and getting your breathe up, you're down. Down you go as fast as you can with your gun sticking out. Then you haven't breathed up properly. The fish is at 10 meters. You get to 5 and you realize you can't get there. So you've got to come back again. Okay, so take it slow, slow, slow. This is a lazy man sport. If you're one of these hyper junkies who want adrenaline, do something else. This is not for you. This is for fat blokes like me. This is for people, I'm 65 in 2 weeks' time. Old blokes like me do it. This is for people who take it easy. We can't be running around like psychopaths, like hyperactive kids. We've got to just slow everything down. So you guys, when you're diving, in the night diving in particular, in the Philippines or Indonesia, you're on the surface. You're looking around. All of a sudden you look down, you see a lapu-lapu, big hamor. Poof, down you go. Wrong, wrong, wrong. As soon as you see that, keep your eye on it, get yourself ready. Lapu-lapu don't go far away from where you see them. They rarely go more than 50 meters from where you actually see them. It's their territory. So you go down nice and carefully, nice and slowly, get yourself down quietly. If you do a quiet duck dive, you'll virtually use none of your O2, your oxygen, because you're saving that for staying on the bottom. So you do a nice duck dive, get yourself down to where the fish is, hold the gun into you, don't go running around like this, like a James Bond with your gun sticking out. Hold it close into your arm like this as you go down. Just take it easy. Try not to fin. If you do a good duck dive, there's no reason for finning until you get down to 8 or 10 meters. If your duck dive's good, you don't need to do that. The more noise and movement you make in the water, the less chance you've got of getting that fish. So there's another reason that you might black out, because you panic. Anybody else think of any other reasons? We've been going through this the last couple of weeks, so if you can think of any, please pass the message to Jasmine. Or if you've got any questions, please pass the message on here and Jasmine will read them to me. Okay, so blackout. Okay, so let's quickly, while we're on here, just talk a little bit about equalization. A lot of people have trouble equalizing. A lot of people can go deep, but they can't equalize at depth. So equalization is a very, very important part of being a spearfisher. Okay, so how do we equalize? First thing is, do what I've just told you. Slow it all down. Do your breathe up properly. Get yourself ready. Get yourself prepared properly. And then, obviously, you've got your face in the water, snorkeling and breathing up. One quick pre-equalization. Just a little push. Elvira, hi there. Just a little push. You'll feel your ears click. No need to blow. You don't want anything to come out of your nose. You just hold it tight. And if you do that, I can hear mine clicking as soon as I do it. That's called pre-equalizing. When you've done the pre-equalization, snorkel out. I've seen people using their snorkel while spearfishing. Not good. Seriously. You should never have your snorkel in when you're diving. The reason is, hello Morik, the reason is, if you've got your snorkel in, you've got a straight line for water to come in when you've blacked out and straight into your throat and drown. Snorkel out. Take your snorkel out. When you have a blackout, without a snorkel, of course, your throat closes, so water can't get in. It's part of the safety mechanism. So there you are on the surface. You see a nice fish. You pre-equalize. Take your snorkel out. With your gun, you would. What I do basically is I've got my gun pointing straight down. I bring my other arm close, and I do my duck dive, and down I go. Then I pull with my free arm if I'm right-handed. So I pull with my left arm, pushing me down as a sweep. So I'm sweeping the water past me. I'm looking down. My neck, my chin is always touching my chest when I'm going down, when I'm descending, because it means I'm straighter. If you're looking down, your body's like this. This is the shape of your body, like a banana, and it's not streamlined. If your chest is on your chin, your body's straight, and you don't see banana-shaped fish, right? Of course not. You basically need to keep streamlined. So as soon as you go down, taking it nice and easy, slowly, 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 I can actually sometimes get to fish that I'm targeting without them moving away, because I go down slow. They think I'm dead the way I dive. The way I duck dive and go and descend, they sometimes think I'm not even alive because I'm so quiet. I'm so careful. I'm quietly going down, slowly, slowly, slowly. Then I have a quick look, see the fish that's my target, gun up, bang, done. Then you've shot the fish. Then what do? You've hit the fish. Now what should you do? What you should do now, if you've got the fish, you should go to the fish, and you should push your spear in and twist, because you're then making sure that the flopper's open. You're not going to lose the fish. Shoot the fish, go to the fish, push and twist, and then go back up. Once you've done that, go back up. Okay? Because of course you're using a float, and your gun is attached to your float, so letting go of your gun doesn't make any difference. You go up to your float, then you can pull your float line in, pull the fish in, get your gun sorted out, get rid of the fish, kill the fish, put it on your stringer, reload your gun. At the same time, you're relaxing and you're refreshing yourself, ready for your next dive. How long should you stay on the surface after a dive? If you dive for 30 seconds, 2 to 4 times your depth, depending on how you feel. 2 to 4 times the time you've been down. If you've been down for 30 seconds, I would recommend a minute 30 to 2 minutes. If you've been down for a minute, then 2 to 4 minutes. When you're ready, dive when you're ready, you'll be fine. Don't push it, don't rush it, is one as well, please. When you're coming up, you've been on the bottom for a minute, carefully staying still. You've been grunting, you've been dusting, you've been looking around, you've been being careful, holding your gun in, nothing, no fish. It's time to come up. Your body's contractions have started. You know it's time to start coming to the surface and ascend. So you start to ascend. Halfway up, look over to your left and there's that huge lapu-lapu. Huge one, 5 kilos of hamur. What should you do? I know what most people would do, they go straight for it. But the problem is, your body is in recovery mode now. So you need to ignore the fish, keep your eye on it by all means, but come up to the surface, do your refresh breaths, get yourself ready before you do your dive again. You can watch the fish from the surface, keep your eye on it. In the meantime, you're getting yourself ready to dive again. If you go back down for that fish when you're halfway up, I guarantee you're going to have problems, because your body is ready to recover and you're going to stop it. You can't do that. You've got to come up to the surface and take your time, chill out nice and easily, pull your fish up, do your business with your fish, get your gun reloaded, go back into your refreshing mode, get your last breath in, and then wait enough time on the surface so your whole body's refreshed. You can hear your heartbeat bursting sometimes underwater. You don't want to be diving when your heartbeat's going too fast. You need to slow everything down and make sure that you're ready for that next dive. Then go down, 9 times out of 10 that fish is still there and you can take him out. Okay, so we were talking earlier about equalizing. How do we do it? Lots of different ways to equalize. As I said, and I digressed then, when you equalize, the first time you equalize is on the surface, one quick push, hear your ears click, snorkel out and dive. Then as you're diving, as many times as you feel comfortable, equalize, 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 equalize. As you're going down, equalize, equalize. You can't equalize too many times. Equalize, equalize. Keep doing it. As soon as you feel any pain, equalize, equalize. If it doesn't work, give it up. Back to the surface. Don't push it. If you try and push it too hard, you get serious damage. When I was scuba diving many years ago and lived in beautiful Indonesia, I went on a liveaboard trip to Raja Ampat for 10 days. And the first dive, I dived down, and those of you who've seen my own homepage on Facebook, you'll see a silvertip shark behind me. I wanted to get the photograph of that, so I went down with my scuba gear to the maximum, and he was at 40 meters. I thought, great. But I was starting to have trouble equalizing, so I pushed it and pushed it. This was a dream shot for me. I wanted to get the picture of this fish. I had all my gear ready, I had everything set up, the lights, the whole lot. I pushed and pushed and pushed. I got the shot, but then when I came up after my safety stop, got back on the boat, my ear was bleeding. I punctured my middle ear. I strained my sinuses. I sat on the boat for the next 9 days watching everybody enjoy the beauty of Raja Ampat. It broke my heart, but it taught me a lesson. Never ever push it too hard. If you push it too hard, you will damage your ears. And believe me, it's a long road to recovery after you've burst your middle eardrum or ruptured your sinuses. It's not nice. Just chill. Feel the pain's getting too much. Equalize, equalize. If it doesn't happen, get back to the surface and start everything again. We're not in a rush. Just take it easy. Okay, right, no problems. I'll go up and resurface. Get up to the surface again. Go through your breathe up procedure, your relaxation. Make sure you spend enough time on the surface so your body's ready to go again. And then go down and do it again. Equalize, equalize, equalize. One thing that I found can help, and it helped me learn to do no hand equalizing, and that was chewing gum. I actually took chewing gum with me when I was diving, and because you've got chewing gum in your mouth and you're sort of basically chewing a little bit, you develop saliva in your mouth, and that enables you to swallow, and swallowing is a great way to equalize. If you're all sitting in there now at home, just grab hold of your throat and swallow. You'll hear your ears clicking. right? You're just equalized. Swallowing is a good method of equalizing. There's all sorts of different ways, Valsalva and all these weird things. That helps. That really helps. If you have trouble equalizing, that helps you. There are lots and lots of different methods of equalizing. You've just got to be patient with it. You can't all of a sudden become an equalizer. It does take time. When I dive, I never use I do use my hands because I want my students to see me doing it, but I actually never use my hands to equalize. I'm clicking my ears continuously from the top to the bottom and back up again, and I'm literally equalizing. I just did it 10 times, so you can tell how quickly I'm equalizing when I'm diving. So I don't really have problems. I still do. Nobody's perfect. Nobody never has problem equalizing. You're going to get that click in your ear. You're going to get a bit of pain in your ear, and you've got to sort of sort it out and come back up. And you'll have maybe 2 or 3 days with water stuck in your ear, which is annoying. The good way to get rid of that, incidentally, if you do get water stuck in your ears and you can't get it out the day after you dive, the good way to do it is to get like an eardropper and put warm olive oil into the eardropper, put your head on the side and get your missus or whoever to drop the olive oil into your ear and lay like this for about a minute. Just lay there, just equalizing in your mind, in your body. You can feel it clicking, and when you click, it's a wonderful feeling because you can feel the oil dropping down. Then after about a minute, get a tissue, lay onto the other side, and you'll feel the olive oil dropping out. Honestly, it's the most wonderful feeling when you clear that clicking. I remember once I went diving and I came home with my wife and my friend, we're having dinner, and I said, I've got something in my ear, it's causing me problems, I can't get it out. And all of a sudden my mate said, well, it's out. So what do you mean? I said, look, it was a tiny crab. Tiny crab was stuck in my ear and wriggling around for 24 hours.
You said it's water.
I thought it was water because it was making that itching feeling, but it was a baby crab. Anyway, so that's basically one of the ways we equalize. The normal way of equalizing is the Valsalva, and what we do basically is hold on to your nose. Don't blow air out of your nose, but just click, click, click. You don't need to actually exhale, let air come out of your nose. It's not a good idea. It will fog your mask up. And also, what do we say? Go down with what you came up with. Make sure you've got the same air in your body when you come back as when you went down. We don't want to be blowing bubbles or anything like that. So just hold it up to your nose, push a little bit of pressure, and you'll hear your ears click. And keep doing that whilst you're diving, and you won't have any problems with it. As I said, there are lots and lots of different ways for you to learn how to equalize, and everybody's different. You know, there's another method where you put your tongue up on your soft palate and you push up like that. Lots of different ways that you can it's your body. You have to find out what your body needs to do to open the eustachian tubes, because it's the eustachian tubes inside your body that are closed. The ambient air pressure is very different to the air pressure under the water. So you need to equalize. That's where the phrase equalize comes from. You need to equalize that pressure inside your eustachian tubes that's equivalent to where you are in the sea. So obviously, as you start going down, you do this and you open your eustachian tubes. In theory, it opens up and everything's fine. The deeper you go, actually, people say, oh, it's tough when it's deep. My feeling personally is, the deeper I go, the less problems I have equalizing. You know, if you clear it slowly on the way down and just keep doing it nice and slowly and carefully, the deeper you go, the less problems.
Hi, Faisal Kashin.
Sorry?
Faisal.
Hi, Faisal. How are you doing, mate? Hi, Luis Miguel Diaz.
And Rex.
And
Your
Rex.
student.
Rex, another student of mine. We're full of students now. Rex, good to see you, man.
Faisal said it happened to him also.
Which Faisal?
Tiny Pool.
Which Faisal?
You're a student, the one that's graduate.
Pinoy.
Pinoy. Yeah.
Oh, Filipino Faisal, aye mate, yeah. Yeah, it's not very nice, is it, when that little crab gets in you? It's a weird feeling, but it's worse, it's better than having water stuck there for a week, right? So, that's a little bit on equalization, a little bit on blackout recovery. On blackouts. How to avoid blackouts. It's real easy. Don't go too deep, don't stay too long. Stick within your limits and don't push things too hard. Don't push it too far. You know, as I said before, when you guys who hunt for your families are going out spearfishing, your kids and your wife's there, and you just ask them one day, do you want me to take risks to get a really big fish? Or do you want me to come home? You know the answer. No fish is worth your life to your kids or your wife, and no gear is worth worrying about. If you get in, everything's gone wrong, drop everything and come to the surface. It's as simple as that. You can always buy a new belt, you can always buy a new gun, you can't buy a new dad. Okay, so before you dive, in my opinion, I always do it, say a little prayer. If you're a Muslim, you know, inshallah. If you're Christian, say, I don't know, Jesus, you know, please help me, please keep me safe, please bring me home to my family. But most importantly, I think, talk to your kids. If you know anybody who's died because of spearfishing, talk to their kids. Ask them, you know, would you like your dad to have come home, even though he didn't get that big fish? Of course. Come on, you've got to be careful. We've got to look after ourselves to look after other people. Okay. So, have we got any questions, Yasmin?
Not yet.
No questions, guys. Come on. I need some questions. I'm going to go through the blackout protocol, how to recover somebody from a blackout, in a minute with my lovely wife Jasmine. But in the meantime, if there's anybody with any question, I know Rex has got some questions. Rex did a fantastic job yesterday. I was really proud of him. 50-meter dynamic, easy. He could have turned it quite easily. I know he could. And Rex was one of the guys sat listening to my equalization theory session yesterday at the pool, and all of those people who were there had some level of problems with equalizing. When they paid attention and sat and listened to me, they were fine. One guy, Omar, I don't know if Omar's on here or not, Omar, a brand new student, has only had 2 pool sessions, that's it, but he managed to do the 4-meter dive on the free dive buoy down to the bottom, then swim to the edge of the pool, simulating a 10 to 15 meter free dive. So how was he able to do it? He paid attention and he listened, and I'm happy to say that he did a great job of it. And all of my students at some stage will have problems with I do. Every now and then. I've been diving for 50 years. Every now and then I get a problem. I get a little bit of something in my ear and I'm pushing it. I have to tell myself, don't force it, will. Come up. So I stop, I come up and start again and go back down, and it's fine. Sometimes when you rush into diving, it can cause a problem. If you go straight in the sea and dive straight down to 10, 15 meters, almost guaranteed you're going to have an equalization problem. The best advice is gradually start your dive, go down 2 or 3 meters, come back, go down to 5 meters, come back, go down to 7, come back, get yourself down to where you need to be at 10 meters. If you're feeling comfortable, stay there. If not, come back, start over again and go back down. The ear damage is one of the biggest problems for spearfishers, because it's not normal, right? It's not something that we're used to doing. Going into 2-3 ATMs of pressure when we're just used to walking around in one atmosphere on the surface. It's not a normal thing, so we have to be careful and not push our bodies too much to make sure that we come back for the next dive. Okay, so any questions yet?
No,
No questions, so you all know everything, right?
just listening. They enjoy listening.
I know you're listening, and I appreciate that, guys, but I could do with some questions so that I can at least answer some people, because I'm sure you've got questions. You know, there's only one stupid question, right? It's the one you don't ask. The only stupid question is the one you don't ask. If you don't ask, you'll never know. So if somebody says to me, "Oh, I didn't want to ask you," I might have sounded stupid. I would say they're more stupid for not asking.
How to,
What's that?
Ramil Allegro Mondejar asked how to save blackout victim.
Okay, yeah, we're going to come on to that. What's his name again?
Ramil.
We're coming on to that shortly. And I need Jasmine to be my model. Okay? So, if there's no more, is there any questions again?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, right. So, let's go on to now the blackout recovery of a victim. First of all, if you're doing deep dives, your buddy should be on the surface, watching you. He should be watching you from above, and he should stay there until you've finished your dive, until you've had another 30 seconds on the surface, and he can look at you, and you give him the "I'm okay," and he knows that you're fine. That's basically how we should do, in particular with deeper dives. I, Adrian, are. You should be watching your buddy carefully. Now, with Spearos, diving 2, 3, 4 meters, it's very difficult because it seems pointless. It's not actually pointless. It's really very, very important to have a buddy with you at all times. But it's not that important in shallow dives for the guy to be sat watching you. But you can still be watching each other. As long as you're staying away from shot distance, you're pretty safe, right? And you watch your mate going down. You see what's going on. If he's having trouble, you know he's having trouble. You see him struggling under the bottom, you know he's having. You'd go to him naturally, right? He's your mate. Of course you want to look after him. If you go on your own and have a slight problem, it's all over. If you get stuck on a fishing line, especially if you haven't got a sharp knife, then try and get it off. Try and get it off your weight belt. This is the knife one. I'll show you what. Look, I know
It's not on my belt.
it's not on my belt at the moment because it's been off for yesterday. But a good knife. This is a good dive knife. Okay, there are all sorts of different brands and they all follow the same thing. The most important thing is it's got somewhere that I can put it on my belt. It must be on your belt. I don't want to see people putting it on their legs or their arms or wherever. It's got to be on your belt. It's got to be in an area where both of your hands can reach that knife. Okay? This is the one I like. This is the Rife Wrangler, I think it's called, this one. The reason I like this one is because it's not easily lost. Oops, excuse me. It's not easily lost. It's got a piece of elastic that comes down, clips it in place like that. Okay? When I take it off and I want to use it from my belt, I put my hand in the elastic and I pull it out. So here's my knife. This is my knife that I use for spearfishing. You'll notice it's a brand new knife, this. I've only had it a couple of weeks. You'll notice there's some scratches. You see the scratches there? There's a reason for that. Before we go on to that, can you see that notch here? Get this thing on. This notch here is the most useful bit of equipment you probably have on yourself. And I'll show you what that does. This is when you get your spear stuck through a fish into the rocks or the coral and it's stuck. Huh? You get it stuck inside the rock or inside the coral and you can't get it out. The worst thing you can be doing is pulling it, bending it, stretching it, going crazy with it, trying to get it out. What we do with this, if we can find it somewhere. Have you got it? What we do with this little notch here is we use this to help to free our spear from the rocks. Okay, so, right, so here's your spear. Here's your spear. You've shot your fish, and it's gone into the fish, straight through the fish, and it's into the rocks or the coral. You start pulling it and twisting it and bending it and doing whatever you can with it. You're going to bend your spear, and we all know what happens when a spear's bent. It's over, right? Forget it. You might be able to straighten them, but you never get them properly straight. So what we do is this. I go down with my knife, and I use that notch. And if you look on the spear, this area, oh, I've got the wrong way around, haven't I? Where is it?
Yeah, that one.
There. This area here is what's used for locking the spear into the trigger mechanism. So when you pull it, that opens and your spear goes. What we do with this type of knife, and any knife is good as long as you've got that little notch. It's not for opening beer bottles, as probably a lot of people might think. What you do with it is, you put it, if I can explain it somehow, you put it on that notch. Can you see that? It's connected on that notch. What I can do now is, if it's connected on that notch there, like so, I'll get it right, so, what I can do now is, I can pull my spear out of the rock, I can twist it, I can do whatever I want with it, and believe me, with this on your knife, you've got a better chance of retrieving it without bending and ruining your spear. So that one there, that notch there, goes into this clip here on your spear. Then you can turn it against that notch and pull it as hard as you want to get it out. Okay, so that's just a little bit of an extra. Where's this one from?
That's the wrong spear for your gun.
Okay,
So
yeah. So
it's extra.
so basically, that's a good bit of advice for using the right type of knife. If you use that type of knife, you don't have to buy. I mean, these are expensive. This is a Rife knife, come from America. They're great knives actually, but you don't need to buy expensive knives like this because you know you're going to lose them, right? It happens. That's a new one. Why? Because I lost one a couple of weeks ago.
Mine is cheap, but it has this one.
Jasmine's got a small, tiny little knife, which she uses because she's small and tiny anyway. This is her knife, but look what she's got. Where is it? She's got it as well, look, see? Not only can she use it for getting her spear out, she can also use that bit for cutting metal on metal lines. It's very, very sharp there as well. So all sorts of knives have got that. They've got that thing. Right. Let's get on to blackout recovery. How to recover a blackout victim. I'm going to ask my wife to be very, very kind and be my.
Do we need to use a mask?
Yeah. Okay, so we need to put. Just wait till I get sorted out. And my foot. And your belt. Okay, so we're going to just get this prepared now, and I'm going to show you how we recover a blackout victim. Imagine the victim is face down at the bottom of the sea. Okay, so put your belt on. You don't need the snorkel. We're going to get there, just bear with us for a second. It's worth waiting for this, I promise you. Okay, so I'm going to ask Jasmine to put a belt on and a mask.
The belt buckle is always on the left.
Of course, belt buckle. It looks like it's on the right here, but that's because it's the opposite. The belt buckle must be on the left, as it is here. Okay? And then she's got a lot more space because she's thin. Show them how you put that in, huh? What we do, if it's too long, you fold it, and you put it underneath the belt, and there's a reason for that. We'll come to that as well in a second. So put your mask on now. See how kind she is, my wife, doing all this for us, right? Okay, so.
Ay, ate. Ah, my hair.
Her hair.
I need the ponytail.
Just a minute, she needs to get a ponytail. It's worth waiting for, I promise you, okay? The reason she put the belt, the long piece of the belt under her belt is because I can pull it out on us. Let's do that now anyway, shall we? Okay, so when I go down to Jasmine and she's on the floor of the sea and I want to get her belt off turn this way, her belt off as quickly as possible, what I need to do is only pull, which is a bit weird, as it's as good as mine. Pull it so
It's gonna fall down.
It just falls away.
Straight.
Okay? She's dead small, so it's a bit different. So she puts it back under there. Okay.
It's hard in the dry, but when it's on
So
the
put
sea,
your mask
it's
back on
fine.
again. So the idea is I get hold of her belt and I pull it across to the left and it will just drop off her. Now Jasmine's going to lay down, face down on the chairs now, so you can see what I do when I recover her. So you have to imagine Jasmine's face down, suffering a blackout at the bottom of the sea. Okay? Make sure I can get you all in there. Yeah. Okay, good. So Jasmine's my blackout victim at the bottom of the sea, and I need to get to her. The first thing I need to do is turn her onto her back, like so. I pull her towards me, pull her towards me, like this. Then I pull her belt off. Her belt drops away. Then I need to get, you have to help me by standing, get my hand underneath her here, put that up a little bit, underneath here, holding her chin, pushing her up. Usually you can put your hand under the armpits or at the small of the back, and I've got to literally push her up to the surface before me by finning. Okay, so I've got her on the way. I've got her on the surface now. So lay down again. Lay down on your back now. On your back.
It's
Okay.
fogging my...
So don't worry about it. She's worried because it's fogging. Okay, so she's on the surface this time, right? So the next thing I need to do, I need to take my hand underneath her neck and I take a mask off. A mask off. The next thing I need to do is I need to blow on her face. Both sides twice. So that's the blow. Next thing I do is I tap. And when I'm tapping her, I say her name. Jasmine, breathe, 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 breathe. I'm okay? Good. So there we go. I've just saved Jasmine. You can do that 3 times. If it doesn't work after 3 attempts, you need to get her to the shore
CPR.
as quickly as possible. Get medical attention. Give her CPR. Do whatever you can to make sure she's okay. But I guarantee you, 99 times out of 100, she will come round having been brought to the surface by her buddy. Now think about this. You black out, hello Ricardo, you black out and you're face down on the bottom of the sea and you've got too much weight. Hi Angelo, you've got too much weight. What's the chance of survival if you're on your own?
Nah.
Not a lot.
It depends if you pop out face up.
If you are correctly weighted, you will automatically come to the surface, because remember, even though you're low on oxygen, you've still got air in your lungs and you're positively buoyant and you'll start coming up to the surface. If you're too heavy, you won't. You'll just go. Hello, Angela. You will never survive if you're too heavy, which is why it's vitally important that you make sure that you're not overly weighted, you're not too heavy. So that's a quick explanation and description of blackout recovery. We do this in the pool every time we're there. We're always we're always practicing this with my students. You can never practice enough. You can never ever practice enough. You've got to keep on practicing so that it becomes second nature. Okay. And, you know, I'm a big guy, you know, I'm like, I don't know, nearly 90 kilos. Jasmine's 32 kilos, but she can still recover me if I black out. Just goes to show you, right? She's 32 kilos, I'm 90 kilos. She can easily get me to the surface if I black out. Okay. In my career, over 50 years now, I've had 2 blackouts. I had one in Dubai at 30 meters. Sorry, I dived at 30 meters, but I came up and blacked out on the surface. I had another one in Vietnam at after a 25-meter no fins dive when I got stuck in a down current, which was pretty frightening. But because the people with me had been trained, just like I'm showing you now, I survived. Okay. Next question, what do you do if that person doesn't recover? Then you've got to do CPR, you've got to do breathing. You can breathe in there. If you don't want to breathe in their mouth, you can breathe through their nose if you want to. You've just got to get them back to the surface, back to the shore or the boat as quickly as possible and get medical attention. So, okay, so that's a little bit on blackout recovery. Really, really, really happy to see that so far, at least this month, and since we've been doing these lectures online,
Yeah, no death.
we've not seen anybody. We've had no reports of any deaths.
Alhamdulillah.
Thank God, alhamdulillah, and praise be to Buddha and all the rest of it that's happened. If we get this message across to as many people as we can, then let's hope we can put a stop to this senseless loss of life.
Don't delete the videos.
There's no need for anybody to die due to lack of knowledge. I know it's expensive to get training in Southeast Asia. I know it's out of your reach. You know, I charge 2,500 dirhams for my course, which is about 40,000 peso, or how much is that? I don't know.
1 year.
Millions of Indonesians. It's probably a year's salary for a lot of you poor guys. So I'm very happy to carry on doing this as long as you're interested. So far we've had almost 8,000 people watch the last 2 videos, and I'm going to keep it on my Facebook site so people can keep watching. I got blocked last time by Facebook because I invited too many people, which goes against the rules, I guess, but I've learnt my lesson, and I'm opening up, instead of just this group, I'm opening up a separate Facebook page, and I'll gradually migrate across to that so that we can continue it without any more problems. What I would suggest and request that you do is, of course, you can be my friend. I'm happy to have you as friends, but more importantly, if you would follow me, that helps me, because following me and getting more followers means that eventually they'll start paying me for doing this, Facebook, and anything I earn from this will be going straight out to you guys. Okay, I will definitely promise that anything that Facebook pay me will go straight to Southeast Asia, to people who need it. And if we can keep doing this and spread the word to all of your buddies. I mean, tonight we had like, I don't know, 15 people maybe maximum, but I know that a lot of you pass it along to other people, and it gets out there, and people are starting to understand that this thing's going on. For those who it's for us to open the beer, Rex, I know that, mate. Oliver's dream spear gun.
Yeah,
Okay.
Oliver said.
Oliver wants one of my spear guns. Okay, I'll send you the invoice, don't worry.
The
Ellen! Alhamdulillah, Ellen's joined us. Ellen is an amazing spearfisher from Indonesia. Apa kabar Ellen? Ich harap kamu sudah siap, sudah sehat, sudah banyak ikan dari menyelam. Alhamdulillah. Guys, check out this lady. Ellen Napo. She's an amazing
Yeah, she's
spearfisher.
amazing spearfisher.
She's a great lady to get to know, and believe me, she's somebody you would want beside you if you were spearfishing for sure. She'd be an expert at doing what we do. You should see some of the fish this little lady gets. It's almost as bad as Jasmine.
Cruel,
Hmm?
the Filipina.
Is she on?
Cruel. No, I want to talk to him.
Cruel.
I can't
I don't know if she's
remember
on.
her name.
Vincenzo Bruno. Hi Vincenzo, nice to see you. I'm not sure exactly where a lot of people are coming from, but it's really nice to see that we had such a wide spread of nationalities joining us. We had people from Mexico, Brazil, the US, Europe of course, Italy, England, France, Spain. We had people from, of course, the Middle East, from United Arab Emirates. We had people from Qatar. We had people from all the countries in the Middle East, Egypt, Saudi, all over the place. And then going east, further east, we had people joined us from India, from Indonesia, from Singapore, Thailand, Philippines, of course, Myanmar, Australia as well. So we went all over the world. Yes, Banyat Speargun. They're not all mine. Some are being serviced for others. Okay, so we had people from all over the world benefiting from this. And whilst we've got good people like you coming on and sharing the information, let's hope that we can... yeah, it's okay. Tirata Papa. Morocco. Wow. Casablanca. You see? How many people we're getting
You have
here?
young students. He's Moroccan.
I've got 2 graduated and a current student who's a Moroccan at the moment.
The other one, he's a great
Sorry?
Said.
Saeed. Yeah, we've got Saeed's Moroccan as well, right?
Yeah.
Saeed and Mohammed, young guy who's just about to qualify as well. So we get a lot of people on here, a lot of good messages going out. And thank you so much for joining. And please, please spread this out as much as you can. If you go onto my Facebook group page, you'll see I keep the videos pinned. So you'll be able to watch these videos for a long time before I get rid of them. And you'll be able to share to the new people as well. So, any questions? No, you can't have my spear gun. How's the Adihex event, sir? Adihex event was I'm there tomorrow, actually. Is it tomorrow?
We'll be there tomorrow.
I'll be there all day tomorrow, Abu Muhammad. It's amazing. There's so much to see there. There's so many things that you would see and enjoy. Lots and lots of spearfishing equipment there.
I thought he's in Cebu.
What's her name?
Abu Muhammad.
Yeah, he's asking, yeah, but Rashid Al Mahali's there selling some of his new guns, a good friend of ours.
Yeah.
You can see the advert
He's a great freedom.
behind me now, I think, just near the safety buoy. That's Gulf Marine. Gulf Marine are there as well. They're a great supporter of us, and they do a lot to help us with new spearos in particular. They give us great discounts. Another company called Amit are there as well. Go in there and tell them that if you go in and tell any of them, the spear shops, that you're a student or a member of my team, if you like, Abu Dhabi Spearos, or my Facebook site, then they'll give you a nice discount. You get some really good discounts. Andrea De Ambrosi. Hi Andrea. Look how many wonderful people we're getting on here. Isn't it nice to get this message across? So guys, we're saving lives. That's what it's all about, right?
Please help us spread the video.
Yeah, Jasmine's going to say something now in Tagalog, so the Filipino guys can listen to what she has to say. Say that.
Hello mga kabayan. What?
Tell them to help us spread the word.
Hindi namin i-delete itong video. So you can, para i-share natin sa iba pa nating mga kabayan na mga bago sa spearfishing community.
Good.
Thank you.
You have no idea how honoured we are that Jasmine actually spoke. Because she doesn't, she's very shy,
I'm
she doesn't
shy
like to speak.
in front of
Indonesian,
camera.
I speak Indonesian, and I'll say terima kasih banyak untuk lihatan videoku. Tolong, it's been a long time. Tolong bilang sama teman
Nice.
nonton,
We
join.
practice.
Silakan untuk belajar sehat spearfishing. Okay, if we get the message out there, I keep switching languages. Kalau kita bilang sama banyak orang supaya banyak orang bisa hidup. Semua tahu orang sudah meninggal di Indonesia dari menyelam. People know, we know people from all over the world.
Sorry, saya baru reach from Ellen.
They said, but yes, she's just been able to join in Morocco. Yeah, I know she's probably been out spearfishing tonight, Ellen.
Let's ask.
Pretty sure Ellen's. How many fish did you get? Berapa ikan, Ellen, malam ini?
It's a bit delayed.
Yeah, apparently there's a bit of a delay from me speaking to getting to the different people to listen to it.
I'll do live tomorrow when we
Who?
were IDX.
You will?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so we're going to ADX tomorrow. We're going to be with Gulf Marine on their stand, and we'll be doing a live show there tomorrow. Jasmine's going to do a live thing tomorrow, not really about spearfishing.
I'm just
Hidayat Muhammad. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So many different people coming on that we know. Or, I mean, not that I've met many of you, but I've met you online. I've got to know you. I've got to see how you're performing and what you're doing, and it's. Kamu tidak mengerti bahasa Anda. Ya, karena saya bahasa Inggris, Ellen. Tapi kamu bisa mengerti bahasa Indonesia ya. Terus saya bilang tadi, tolong bilang sama teman semua lihat dan nonton video ini setiap malam Jumat. Okay? Mengerti? Please. Yeah, please. Yeah, okay. Sudah ngerti enggak? I hope so. Okay, so I think we're about done for tonight. If there's no questions, any questions?
no more.
Tidak ada yang tanya. Kalau mau saya jawab cepat karena saya bisa pergi sekarang. Okay, so
Thank you for staying
okay,
with
okay.
us.
Thank you so much for staying with us. Terima kasih banyak kerana lihatan videoku itu untuk sehat menyelam. Tolong.
Shukran.
Tell your friends, tell your buddies to watch it. What I've learned over 50 years is yours for free. My students on here know they're paying for it,
They're
right?
paying for it.
But you guys are getting it for free. You're not getting everything, Daniel and Rex, don't worry. But they're just getting the safety element of spearfishing.
Of course, they don't have the certificate and membership card.
Yeah, so
That's the advantage.
I'll just say thank you very, very much for joining us tonight. It's been a pleasure as always. Terima kasih banyak untuk orang Indonesia ikut dan nonton.
Maraming salamat po.
And Dankeschön, kalau if you, I get mixed up with languages, right? So
Shukran in Arabic.
Shukran Arabic, and Dankeschön auf Deutsch, and what's Italian? Ciao in Italian. Merci in France. You're welcome. Look forward to seeing you again soon, Daniel. We need to start your theory.
Oh, Daniel
Okay.
is there. I
Yeah.
can't see him.
Is there? Say hello to Daniel, your favorite Spiro.
Maybe we will see him there tomorrow.
Okay, guys, that's me done for tonight. Thank you very much for joining. We'll be back again same time next week,
Inshallah.
and inshallah, and we look forward to seeing you all again. And I look forward to you telling all of your friends what we're doing. We're trying to help. That's it. Nobody's paying me for this. I'm not getting anything for it. I'm doing it for the love of our Spiro fraternity. When I teach my students, when they join my course, one of the first things I tell them is, you will make some amazing friends as spearfishers. The spearfishing friends that you meet in this sport are second to none. Because when you learn to trust that, when you have to trust that guy with your life, you know you're going to be his mate, right? So keep safe, dive safe, be careful. Thank you so much, and good night, everybody.